John knelt beside the polluted stream with his hands covering his face. He was covered from head to toe in blood, sweat, and tears. It was about 1 in the morning, and he couldn't believe what had just happened. The full moon was so bright that it lit the night sky. John turned and peeked out of his fingers to see his friend lying beside him in cold blood. He wanted to run from this terrible place, but physically he couldn't move. Mentally, however, John was as far away from here as he could get. His mind was in a different place, a different world. John sat in a trance, holding his knees wide-eyed. He was moving back and forth, muttering to himself. John was left alone. There was no one to comfort him, to say that everything was going to be okay. But in reality, nothing was going to be okay. Steve was John's best and only friend. John would never get to hear his friend's voice again. John wouldn't be able to go over to Steve's house when he had a bad day. Nothing was going to be the same. John was now stuck in the world all alone. Steve rose, only to find that he was still lying down. What is going on, Steve thought. He saw his friend rocking back and forth in a trance, and forgot all about seeing his body on the ground. Steve went over to his friend and placed his hand on John's shoulder, but as soon as he did, his hand went straight through John's body. Steve tried to touch his friend, but the same thing happened. Again and again Steve tried, all ending in the same result. Steve began to go mad. He didn't know what was going on. Steve walked up to a tree and tried to pound on it, but his fist went straight through. He jerked his hand back and walked straight at the tree. His whole body went through, and he didn't feel a thing. Steve stood amazed, thinking of why and how he could walk through trees. Steve walked back over to his body and knelt beside it. "Am I dead?" Steve said as he touched his body. He stood back up and screamed as loud as he could. "Help! Can anyone hear me? I need help." There was no answer back from anyone near the sound of his own voice echoing back to him. The only sound was the cricket song all around.